Welcome to day 223 of 66 and 26. We're back in the book of Hebrews today in the New Testament, chapters 3 and 4. Remember that the book of Hebrews is a letter that was written to Jewish Christians, that is, Christians who believed in Jesus, but they had come out of the Jewish faith, the Jewish tradition of the Old Testament, and had come to know Jesus, but they were persecuted, very much in danger of what you might call backsliding and turning and reverting back to the Jewish faith and the Old Testament covenant. And the writer of Hebrews is saying, no, don't turn back to the old because that is obsolete. Jesus is superior to any of the people or institutions of the Old Testament covenant. And so stay with Jesus. So there's a back and forth pattern that happens throughout the early chapters of Hebrews, and that is the writer of Hebrews is giving an example of how Jesus is greater and superior to one of the people or the offices or institutions of the Old Testament, and then warning the people that he's writing to, these Jewish Christians in danger of reverting back to the Old Covenant, warning them about unbelief or about turning away from Jesus. And so you see that in chapter 1 and 2, chapter 3 and 4. In chapter 3, we're told that Jesus is superior to Moses. Moses was faithful as someone who watched over God's house, the writer of Hebrews says, but Jesus is superior because he is the builder of the house. And just as the builder of the house is superior to the one who manages the house, so Jesus is superior to Moses. And then you get this warning starting in Hebrews 3 verse 7, not to fall away. And then we're told in chapter 4 of Hebrews that Jesus, what he offers to the people of God is superior to what Moses was able to offer. Because Moses, after the wandering in the desert, sent the people of Israel into the promised land, but he was not himself allowed to go into the promised land because of his doubt earlier in that wandering in the desert. And so Moses is not able to give the rest that was promised in the promised land, rest from all their enemies and peace on every side. Well, Moses couldn't offer that, but Jesus does offer that, and he will bring us final Sabbath rest. And so when we look to him, we have spiritual rest, longing for that day when there will be physical rest as well. And so in all these ways, Jesus is superior to all that we see in the Old Testament, the Old Testament covenant. And so don't go back to the old ways. Look to Jesus, trust in him, and abide with him.